This is CNN Breaking News.
We're beginning with breaking news overnight in California. A peaceful protest turns violent in Berkeley.
Flash bombs and tear gas, 2 police officers hurt, stores vandalized, the demonstrators upset over a New York grand jury's decision not to indict an officer in the death of Eric Garner. And good morning, everyone. I'm Randy Kay, in today for Christy Paul.
I'm Victor Blackwell, 6 o'clock here on the East Coast.
Violent protests ignite over the controversial death of Eric Garner. This was the chaotic scene in Berkeley, California last night. As many as 1,000 protesters filled the streets to demand justice and law enforcement reform.
Things took a turn for the worst when a small group of masked protesters started hurling weapons like these bricks and a pipe and this stone at police officers. At least 2 officers were injured, including one who had to be treated at a local hospital after being hit with a sandbag.
And like the violent protests we saw in Ferguson, local stores were also a target.
We're just in work, and next thing you know, that window breaks, that window starts breaking, these 2 windows break.
Kid with a hammer comes in, throws brake fluid like he's gonna light the store on fire.
They just took stuff, yeah, and like I thought we were gonna get attacked because they had like weapons, like hammers and crowbars and things.
Police say they were forced to use smoke and tear gas after the crowds refused to let up. Look at this. At one point, other protesters, they tried to keep the peace.
Why are people leaving? There's no need. We're peacefully protesting. We shouldn't be taking things from stores that aren't bothering us.
It is unclear just how many people were arrested. At least 7 other police departments have stepped up to help.
We have with us Jennifer Coates on the phone. She's the Berkeley Police Public Information Officer. It's good to have you this morning. Can you set the scene for us? What's the latest there?
Oh, good morning. Thanks for having me. Currently, the protests have pretty much winded down. There's just a small group, less than 50, that are still marching, but it is peaceful at this point. And we have pulled our resources back, and the mutual aid agencies that have been assisting us have been released from helping us, and are now leaving the area.
Less than 50, fewer than 50 now. At the height of the protests, how many were demonstrating? And give us an idea of how many of those demonstrators were the violent ones who, as we see, fighting here, who were breaking windows and throwing stones.
We did have estimates up to and around 1,000 people at the height of the protest. During the time, kind of the splinter group that split off and was causing some of the vandalism and damage, that group is estimated anywhere between 200 or maybe up to 300 people. And it just kind of, as the night progressed, the numbers did get smaller. But, the main group that stayed around usually was roughly around 150.
And how many officers there?
So I don't know approximately. We probably had around 200 or more officers, including all the officers from our agencies and then those 7 other agencies that assisted us.
Now, there are some claims that the tear gas and the smoke incited some of the violence. What's your response to that?
Well, in this case, Berkeley is known for, protest and the First Amendment, and we do everything we can to ensure that people can peacefully exercise their freedom to express themselves. In this case, our response occurred because, the group of the protesters did become violent. They did start throwing rocks and bricks and bottles. Also, small pipes were thrown at our officers. And including later on in the evening, we also had objects that were lit on fire and thrown at our officers, so which created a huge hazard for both our officers and the community. So we've determined at that point that the assembly was unlawful, and they were given orders to disperse, which they refused and continued to throw objects at us. So we responded with trying to clear the crowds by using tear gas and smoke.
Do you have hard numbers this morning on arrests and injuries?
I don't have specific numbers. We have made several arrests from various charges, including assault as well as vandalism. We just now finished up, so we are looking at seeing how many numbers, of arrests that occurred.
All right, Jennifer Coates, Public Information Officer for Berkeley Police Department. Thank you so much for clearing the picture for us this morning.